How am I supposed to do this thumbnail? Hey everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be doing a giant, and I mean giant, unboxing book haul. So I know on my last book haul I said it was going to be my last book haul, and it was for a little bit. I never said it was going to be the very last one that I did, but wow, I'm still out of breath from that thumbnail. But I have gotten so many books since I did that book haul that I can't put it off any longer. I need to do a book haul, and this isn't even all the books that I've gotten. This is just everything that I've gotten this past weekend because we had an employee appreciation event at my work, and I work at a bookstore, so that's when I get the majority of my books, is twice a year at employee appreciation. So I was doing really well before that, but now I have so many boxes of books here, as you saw in the thumbnail, which took me so long to do because they are so heavy. I only opened one of these boxes, and I only opened it because it wasn't actually books in it, so I instead put books in it that I had gotten this past weekend that I did get at the store, so technically like they were in a bag, but I just thought it would be fun to put them in a box and do an unboxing. I also haven't seen nor filmed an unboxing book haul in so long, like years, and I didn't know if people still liked them, but I asked you guys on Twitter and you guys wanted to see it, and I loved doing them, so I'm very excited to be doing one again. It feels like it's back in, like, I don't know when I started making videos, but it feels like back then when I used to do these all the time. But this is without a doubt the largest one that I've ever done, so let's just get into it because we're gonna be here for a while. So I actually discovered that one of the boxes didn't have books in it at all, so I'm gonna move on, and I'm actually going to start out with the Book Outlet box. I used to order on Book Outlet all the time because they are great. They have like such good bargains. I'm not working with them or anything, I'm just letting you know, but that's where I really started building my collection. And then when I started working at Indigo, I obviously, with the employee discount, I just didn't really shop there anymore. But when I was shopping for the employee appreciation event, I went on Book Outlet and they had some things that I was gonna get but cheaper there, so I ended up still getting them, and I got them at Book Outlet. So this is the first order I've had there in like years. All right, I honestly feel like I am back to when I started Booktube. Oh, this is so fun. So the first book that I have here is Fire by Kristin Cashore. This is actually, I think I got the other one too. Where is it? Yeah, I did. So I also have Bitterblue by Kristin Cashore. These are books 2 and 3. Not sure of the order. I think this one is 2 and then this one is 3, but they are part of the Graceling trilogy, which Hannah just read. Absolutely loved it, and I almost unhauled Graceling, but she loved it so much that she convinced me to keep it, and I am going to try it out, and obviously I'm hoping that I'm gonna like it because I got these 2 books here. But what I didn't know about them before she had read them is they're kind of romance-based fantasies, and I have been really struggling with fantasy recently, but I've also really been liking romances. They've really been helping me get out of my reading slump, so I think that a romance-based fantasy might help me get back into the fantasy genre. I'll just go for this book next because this is another Hannah book. So this is The Devil's Thief, which was very hard for me to say, but it is by Lisa Maxwell, and I'm gonna have to take this sticker off here. Oh no, it ripped. I will have to work on that later, but this is the sequel to The Last Magician, which similarly to Graceling, I was going to unhaul that book, and I actually did fully unhaul it, so I repurchased it. It might be in these boxes somewhere, I don't really know, but this is the second book of that series. She describes it as being like Six of Crows, but also The Diviners, and I think A Darker Shade of Magic is the other one, and I like those books, so obviously I really loved The Diviners and Six of Crows. A Darker Shade of Magic I feel like I need to reread, but she was just raving about this series, so I was like, okay, I gotta pick it up because I trust my friend's recommendations. So if Hannah says it's great, then I believe that it really is great. Speaking of trusting my friend's recommendations, next is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. So once again, we gotta get this sticker off of here. This one should come off more easily. Yeah. Perfect. But like I mentioned, romance has really been helping me get out of my slump just because they're so fun and easy to get into, so I feel like I'm really far over this way. I'm gonna move my chair over. But anyways, as I was saying, they're just such quick and mindless reads, which is amazing for when you're in a reading slump and you just want to get back to reading for enjoyment, so you need something fun and exciting. And Zoe read this book and said it was very, very good. It had some steamy scenes in there, and I know my sister read it and really enjoyed it as well, so I think I might actually actually pick this one up today. I think it should be a pretty quick read. It's not too long, and I know 2 people who have enjoyed it, so that makes me hopeful. Next, I picked up Puddin by Julie Murphy. This is the companion novel to Dumplin', and I have an arc of it, and I haven't gotten the chance to read it yet, but I needed another book for free shipping, so I was like, I'll get a finished copy. I really love Julie Murphy, and I trust her writing, so I think this will be something that I will very much enjoy. This book follows Millie, who is one of the side characters from Dumplin', and it's about her and her summer where she really wants to have her first kiss, and I just think it's going to be really cute and fun, but also have a very great message to it. Next is The Last of August by Brittany Cavallaro. This is the second book, I believe, to the Charlotte Holmes series, and I've been waiting for them to come out in paperback, and this one has actually been out in paperback for a bit, but for some reason I never actually picked it up, and the final book of this series just came out. I think it's the final book at least, but it just came out last month, so that one should be out in paperback in about a year, so maybe by the time I actually get to this book, I will be ready for that. But the Charlotte Holmes series started with A Study in Charlotte, and it was such a fun mystery story. It's set in like this boarding school, and it actually follows a descendant of Sherlock Holmes, so it's not like fictional in their world, it's like actually a thing. And she has Watson there, so it's just Holmes and Watson, but in a boarding school in modern times, and it's just a ton of fun to read. And finally, I picked up I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Maurene. I'm really trying to up my repertoire of contemporary novels since, as you guys know, if you've been watching my vlogs, I've been loving contemporaries lately. They've been getting me back into reading, but I realized I don't have that many on my shelves that I need to read. I have tons of fantasy, but contemporary, I really didn't have a lot to choose from, so I ended up picking some up, and this one, I don't even know what it's about. I just know that I had heard a lot of people really liked it, and she has a couple of books out, so I figured I would start with this one since it is the first one. So it's about a girl who's trying to find her way to true love, K-drama style, and I'm not that familiar with K-dramas, but I think this will still be tons of fun. And by not that familiar, I mean like not at all, but I'm still really looking forward to reading this. It sounds like it could be very cute. So that is one box done, so let's move on to another one. I've got a couple of small packages, so I'm gonna go for those. So the rest of the books are all from Indigo, so let's dive into this. This is one of my pre-orders actually, but it is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. I talked about this book in my spring anticipated reads, and I think it just sounds so cool. Something about the cover gives me Six of Crows vibes. It's so beautiful, and even the spine is really cool. I don't know if that's a picture of the author or whatever. I'm not too big of a fan of the photo being on the spine. I kind of wish it wasn't there, but it still is a really beautiful spine. Look at this. It's so pretty. Is it pretty naked too? Oh, let them fear her. Also, that answers my question. It is not a picture of the author on the spine. So this has a girl, a prince, and a monster, and the girl can speak to the gods, which is so cool. And then the prince is surrounded by desperate suitors and deadly assassins, and there is a monster who's hidden behind pale, tortured eyes and a smile that cuts like a knife. Doesn't that just sound like something Leigh Bardugo would write? Like, I love that. But the 3 characters end up coming together to try and end this centuries-long war, and I just love when you have like a ragtag group trying to end a war, you know, fighting against the man. I love that stuff, so I am very excited to have this new release. Now, this next package, I believe, has multiple books in it. I don't know what, but we will find out. Ooh, it's got a lot in here. So I will grab the first thing, which is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. Mentioned this before. It is, oh, it's on the bottom, the first book to this series, so Hannah recommended it, and now I have repurchased it because I literally owned like this exact copy, the hardcover and everything, but it's fine. I have it again, and I really hope that I do end up liking it, but I trust Hannah, so I think I will. Next is The Case for Jamie by Brittany Cavallaro. Once again, we've got a sequel here, but this is the second book. I think this one is the third book. Pretty sure I have that order right here, but the Charlotte Holmes series, and I can never have too many fun, quick reads on my shelves, so I'm happy to have these to add to that. I kind of forgot that I got this, but this is another Hannah recommendation, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This book specifically actually isn't a Hannah recommendation because she hasn't read it yet. She read Circe and really enjoyed it, but I've heard that this is better than Circe, but I think I might wait until I have Circe, which I pre-ordered in the paperback, so I'll be waiting until September, but I think that I want to read that one first, so then I won't go into this one and then read Circe and be like, oh, it's not as good. So I'm not that familiar with mythology, but I've heard endless praise for these books, so I have very high expectations for them. Now, this final box here is the one that I actually filled with books myself, but it is like jam-packed full of them. Now let's dive into the final box. books. So first we have Field Notes on Love by Jennifer E. Smith. Jennifer E. Smith is the author of multiple books, 2 of which I have read, and 1 I really enjoyed, the other one I didn't so much, but this one sounds so cute. She specializes in contemporary romances, and this one I believe deals with a train trip. It says on the back 3,000 miles, 2 complete strangers, 1 week that changes everything. So it kind of sounds a little bit like her other book that I didn't like so much, but I'm going into it with an open mind. I love travel books, and this is kind of travel themed, so I might end up enjoying this one more than I liked her other one. Literally all of my books are just recommended to me by Hannah and Zoe, so here's another Hannah recommendation, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I have no clue what this one is about. It's kind of a classic, or not kind of, it is a classic, but it's really not like a super popular classic, or at least I hadn't really heard of it that much, but Hannah thoroughly enjoyed it, and that was all I needed to know apparently. I really just read what my friends like. Next is The Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. This deals with a main character who is always almost there. Like, he's basically always second best and never quite makes it, but he feels like his curse is turning around when he meets this girl, and he's starting to fall for her. She is perfect, but then she ends up dying. So he's left behind to try and cope with that, and the fact that he never can quite seem to achieve whatever it is he wants, whether it be happiness or valedictorian or anything like that. He never actually gets there. He just gets close enough to get a taste of it. So this is a pretty new YA contemporary, and the reviews for it have been great, and like I said, trying to bulk up my YA contemporary and just contemporary in general repertoire, so I'm happy to have this one to add to it. Next is Sky Without Stars by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rendell. This is a Les Mis story, but set in space. That sounds so cool. It's one of my most anticipated releases for the year, so I'm so excited to have it. Sci-fi is kind of a genre that I do tend to struggle with a little bit, but I really loved Jessica Brody's other books that she wrote, but both of those were contemporary, so I'm interested to see how her writing style will translate into something entirely new, and especially a co-authored book. I'm not really familiar with the second author, but I've heard some great things about it, so I hope that I will end up enjoying it as well. Next is Sherwood by Meagan Spooner. This is a Robin Hood retelling, but it's gender bent, and it's by the same author as Hunted. So that was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and she also has a couple of books that she has co-authored with Amy Kaufman. So I've really enjoyed everything by this author. I really liked Hunted, and I liked her co-authored books, and a gender bent Robin Hood retelling just sounds amazing, so I'm very excited to get to this one. Next, we have Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Yes, I repurchased this. No, I didn't need to. I didn't really like the cover for the hardcover, and then I saw the paperback come out, and I was like, this is absolutely gorgeous. It's very much my style, like that illustrated, bright colors, all of that stuff. I love it. I still haven't read this book. I do plan to read it, hopefully in the next couple of months, but since Wayward Son is coming out and that has a cover that matches this one, I felt like I could justify buying the paperback, especially because I was trying to listen to the audiobook for this book and wasn't really a fan of it. Just the narrator didn't really mesh with me. So now I know I'm going to physically read it, and for physical reads, I really prefer paperback. It's just so much easier to read a paperback than a hardcover, in my opinion, at least. So that was how I justified spending more money on a book that I haven't even read yet. Yeah, I have a problem, I know. Next, we have Only a Breath Apart by Katie McGarry. I've never read anything by Katie McGarry, but this seems like it's kind of different for her. I feel like she writes really like steamy romances, but this is kind of a steamy romance, I'm assuming. It's definitely a romance, I mean, look at the cover. But it seems like one that is going to be a little bit different. It kind of has a magical realism sort of element to it, or at least that's what the synopsis made it seem like. So there's a psychic, the main character is a psychic, and that element just sounds like it could make for a very cool romance story. So I love magical realism, and I'm hoping that it will be as good as the synopsis makes it sound. Next, I have a few Alice related books because I am on brand. So first I got Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This is the manga version of it. I love when I flip through to show you illustrations and it literally doesn't open to any. There you go. There's Pig and Pepper. Fun times. I feel like I always open up to Pig and Pepper whenever I open up an Alice book. I don't know why, but I don't really like manga or graphic novels, which is so weird to me because I feel like it would be something that I would like, but I just don't. I don't know why, but I definitely needed this to add to my collection. So many of you guys have shown me it, and I think it looks so cool and fun and cute. So once again, I'm justifying things that I don't need. And speaking of that, I got another copy. Oh, there's the cover. This is the word cloud edition of Alice, and and it has just like different quotes, and it's like a flexi bound cover. Ooh, end papers. But it just feels really nice, and all of the quotes are embossed in it, so obviously it was a need and not a want. And the final Alice book that I got is actually Drink Me. It is Curious Cocktails from Wonderland. So this is a cookbook, and it has all sorts of different recipes for cocktails. I am of legal drinking age. Don't drink unless you are of legal drinking age. But we have a cup of mad tea here. Queen of Hearts has her own drink. Lobster quadrille. Bread and butterfly pudding. Like, it's just so clever, and I love every part of it so much. So I can't wait to actually try something from here. I think it's gonna be lots of fun. We are almost at the end, I promise. Next is Winter Garden by Kristin Hannah. Kristin Hannah is the author of The Nightingale, which was my favorite book that I read in 2018. I loved it. And so many of you have been suggesting that I read some more stuff from her, so I decided to start out with this one because her other books, it doesn't look like all of them are historical fiction, and I'm kind of only interested in the historical fiction, to be honest, but this one I believe is. It's kind of like The Nightingale in the sense that it takes place in 2 time periods, it seems like. So one is an epic love story set in World War II Russia, and then the other part is set in 2000, so I'm not sure if it deals with the same characters or the storylines are going to intertwine. I'm sure that they are, but I love World War II historical fiction, really loved The Nightingale, so I'm going into this with pretty high expectations, but I'm not expecting it to be like as good as The Nightingale. I'm hoping it will just be a really good story. I don't know if that fully made sense, but basically what I mean is I don't want to compare the two because inevitably I'll be disappointed. So I'm going into it knowing that they are complete separate stories and just have the same author. And finally, I have 3 books here, and they are all adult romances. Who am I? I think it's really funny how like there's like this blue and yellow color scheme. I mean, this one's just yellow, but oh no, there's blue too. What is it with this turquoise and yellow color scheme? So funny. But here I have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang, and then I have 99% Mine and The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. These were all recommended to me by Zoe because I was looking for recommendations when I was about to go book shopping, and she said that these were great. I know I've heard of every one of them except for 99% Mine. I don't think I've heard of. Actually, I think it may have been sent to me and I don't know where I put it, so I'll have to check on that. But so a couple things here. First of all, 99% Mine was indeed sent to me. I ended up DNFing it as well, but Zoe also only recommended the one to me. She recommended The Hating Game. She hasn't yet read the other one, so I don't know what my brain is doing. I'm going into these not knowing anything except for the fact that they are supposed to be steamy and fun, and that is all that I need to know. So that was a lot. How many books do we have here? 25 books! And like I said, I'm pretty sure I have a package on the way, so even more than that. But I honestly don't know how this happened, but here we are. But I have some great titles to add to my shelves, so it's fine. I hope that every time that I say that, you picture that meme of like the dog with the coffee cup and the fire all around it, and like, it's fine, because that's my entire life. If there was one gift to describe my life, that is it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's book haul. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what books you have picked up recently, or if you have read any of these, your thoughts on them. And don't forget to click that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post. And I hope that you guys have a fabulous day whenever I upload this. I don't know what's happening. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!